Hello, everyone. So we are going to start the episode 7 of season 3, the Anyone Python. Anyone who knows the what song is this? Have you ever heard about the song? Nobody? Anyone who knows the title of the song, not the movie clip? Yes, Brandon, how do you know that? So it's a really old song. It's a Jim Croce Time in a Bottle. So I think you can find the song from YouTube or Spotify. The meaning is just a simple time is important. So you cannot, if I can keep the time in a bottle, so what you can do and such a thing like that. So today, I'd like to start today's lecture with regarding to the time. Okay, so have you ever thought about what is time? Anyone can the one or two of you can explain the what is a really time? So what time is? Anyone? So any volunteer? You can unmute by yourself, then you can the talk. So what is the time? Irving? Irving, do you have any idea what is a time?
Like the physical construct of time
As a
itself.
physical construct of time, physical thing.
Well,
So,
not really physical, it's just like a dimension of how we view
uh-huh.
uh, the passage of events, I guess.
Yeah. So time itself is the. I think we cannot imagine our life without time. So every time, every moment, we are living with the time. That's true. However, have you ever seen the what is really time? Is it really exist here? So then the Trinity, are you there? What do you think? What's your the thinking about the
Um,
Is
I
it hard or
think
no?
I see time as like the fourth dimension. Like
Does
we
it work?
like with like the space time theorem, we know like space and time are connected.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. So so what do you think that without time can we live? I think so. I think the time itself is made by the human being. So for our convenience. Like the long time ago, the people when people the like the like the agriculture or the farming, they need to know when they the seeding or when they collect the harvest. So they should know the exact time to get the more the food like that. So they need something the physical the guideline or things. So they try to make the time and time. So in until the 16th century, we had something calendar time, which is called the Julius the calendar. Then the people realized that it's not very accurate. It's accurate, pretty much 365 days, a little bit more. And the 16th century, the Pope, the Gregorian, announced the the current the time definition of the time is a calendar. So our the nature has a year. The year is 360 point something the like the days. One day is the 24 hours and such a thing, and we have 12 months, and each month has sometimes 28 days, 29 or the 30, 31, something like that. That is a time. Okay, so not right now that we are using Gregorian, the calendar year. So if you know about the more details about that, what is the solution? Where can you get the answer? So you can do the Googling. Okay, so please find the details of that Googling. But today I'd like to talk about the time in a computer. Do you think the computer has a time or not? You can use the chat box as a user. What do you think? Does computer have the time? Okay. What do you think? So yes. So what do you think the Aidan? So what kind of time does the computer have? Right bottom, yes, that's true. So if you see the computer, so if you are using Mac, the Mac usually has a top right corner. If you are using the Windows, it's a bottom right, so you have a time. But that time is for the human being. As I explained, it's a Gregorian calendar, and it's the human perception. So we define. So it's a year. Year has the 365 days, and each year has the 12 months. Each day has 24 hours, and each hour has 3,600 seconds. Each second is physically defined. The period, the such a thing. But computer actually does not have the such a thing. But to understand, for better understanding for us, so we are using such a the human, the time, the concept of the time. Then what kind of, it is very important in a computer to have a time. So what kind of time does computer has? Actually, the computer has the, let me share the screen, my desktop. So computer actually is called the epoch. So it has the epoch. So epoch is kind of the start date of the era. So computer, so isn't the invented the machine by the human being. So it doesn't have the eternal or the such a the time concept. So people decide when is the start date of computer time. So they use the different time and discuss then mostly the nowadays computer use the January 1st, 1970 and the 0000. So this is the starting day of the computer time. Okay. So this is called the epoch. So epoch of the computer is the start of 1970, January 1st, and the 0000, 0 hours, 0 minute, and 0 second, and that is the starting time. So then from this, it's the 1970 January the 1st, it start the computer time. However, computer does not use the human like the time. Instead, it's called the tick. So tick means the tick, 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 tick. It's a repeated, the repeated. So it's actually the bottle, the second, exactly same period of tick as the second 1 second period. So 1 second is a one tick. So they count number of ticks and so on. So now today is what's the date? It's the February 26th. It's the 2021. Okay. So in New York time, it's the 5 + 5 hours of the GMT. So right now, we can count this. So can anyone count the number of ticks from the 1970 epoch of computer? Somebody can do that. So if you are genius, so right now we have a certain number. We will see later what kind of number is this. So this is the something number. Actually, computer used this as the time. So computer used this is called the Unix time. Okay. So this is called the Unix time. And also Python used such a Unix time as a time in a computer. It's not like the February 26th. Instead, it's a bunch of number. So why don't you start the PyCharm? Okay. So why don't you start your PyCharm? Then you can open the Python console like this. Then please type first import the time. So we are going to use the time program. Somebody already developed the time, the program. So we are going to import. We are going to use that the time program. And so last time we have used the similar thing. Today we are going to use also. So whenever we are using other guys, the program we are going to import. Then why don't you type the time? So we are going to use the time and the time function. Then you will see the number. So is it the same as yours? If you can see such a number, please give me thumbs up. Then I can see how many of you are following me. So it's the same or not? Nobody? Nice. So, but the beginning is just the similar. So the reason is that this number is the Unix time. So it's the number of peaks, number of ticks from 1970 January 1st. So your time is different when I run the program. It's a slight change, probably one or two changes. This one is the floating number. So the beginning, most of them will have the similar number. This is the Unix time. Okay. So, however, how can I see the human life, the time? I want to see the January 1st or the 24 hours or 10 p.m. like that. At that time, we can use another Python program. So why don't you import this time daytime? So why don't you import the daytime? This is another program to use the Unix time as a human-like the time. So for example, you can print. This will be better. The print the date, time, and date, time, and dot now. Okay, so why don't you type date, time, dot now, and parentheses. Then we will see the 20, the 21, the February 26th, 8:20 o'clock, which means the 8 p.m., the 15 minutes, and 20 seconds. And this is the millisecond. So millisecond may be different. So this is a human like the time, but the Unix actually use the Python actually use the Unix time. It's the number of ticks. Okay, so this is very interesting. Then, have you ever thought about why is 1970? What about the 1969 or the 68? So it's your homework. Why don't you search? I couldn't find the answer yet, the exact answer. But when I start to learn the computer, it's always January 1st, 1970. So why don't you find why the 1970 January 1st is the epoch of the Unix time for most of computer. Okay, so that's a good starting. So we are going to later at the middle of today's episode, we will use the Unix time in our program. Okay, so then today's topic is this. The if finally, I think that even though you didn't use computer programming, you probably heard about the if the statement. So if statement is the one of the most important statement, the syntax of the programming language, including Python and Java, anything. So we use a lot this if statement. Why? Because our program should be general solution. So covering anything. And also people I want this one, I want this one, I want to do this. So all different choices. So how can we handle different choices? How can you go to this one, and this one, this one. So at that time, we can use such a conditional statement. If weather is fine, so I'm going to play outside. Otherwise, so I can stay at home and with watching TV. So every time that you are using the such a conditional statement in your life, so computer program is the same thing. So we need such a conditional statement, if conditional statement, the to make our program in general solution. Okay, so to do that, we are going to see the today this guy, the Boolean. Okay, actually the Boolean. So anyone who heard about the Boolean before? If you heard about the Boolean before, please give me thumbs up. Then see the how many of you know the Boolean is. Ian, very nice. You already know that. Anyone else? Uh, who else? James and Maria and Jonathan. Also, yes. So today we are going to see what is the Boolean, and then we will use the Boolean into the if statement. Okay. Before we start, the quick review of the last time that we learned about the variable. So variable is the small box used in our memory at the time. So I want to remind you that this one. So where's the small box? So my small box is here. So this is a variable. So this variable can have the different types. Do you remember the what type of the data this box has? The first, what kind of data type? First here, so we have integer, like this one, the integer. So we have integer. What else? You can use the chat box if you know the what data type. Float, yes, very nice, Minion. So we have the float over here like this one. So not sure whether you guys can read float. And anyone else? Anything else different type of the data? So this box should have keep the different type, text or string. So we are saying it's a string. The data type like this, very nice, James. Then we have one more today, one more. So that is called the Boolean. I just mentioned the Boolean is another data type. So we will use such a the Boolean data type for if statement. Maria, very nice. That is a Boolean data type. So it has been a while, almost a year ago, though we learned the Carol. So if you didn't take the first the season, so Carol is the friend to learn about the Python program the long time before. In Carol, we learned what is the if, like this one. When Carol is moving, if there is a beeper, beeper is a present. Okay, if there is a beeper, beeper is like this, the box. So if there is a beeper, then the Carol can pick up. Otherwise, then we can do something else. So we can control using the if statement. We can control the Carol using the if statement. At that time, how can we use the if statement, if condition? For your reminder, we can use the if. The if is the keyword. Okay, so we can use the keyword. Then always this one is the semicolon, the colon. So we are using colon. So what's the meaning of colon? It's the most important part of the Python. So what is the meaning of colon? It's a code block, right? So you remember. So we have a body, code block. So we can put if this one is true. So true means yes, it's correct. So if this one is true, then we can do this, right? Then do you remember what if it's not true? What if it's not true? We can use dot E and else we can use. So if not true, we can do the another code block. So this is in case true. So if people present, yes, then we can put the Python code inside. If not true, we can put the Python code here. So very simple. So we can use if and else statement. If and else statement depending on the value of this one. So this is called the expression. So key part is the output. This expression should be always true or false. So true or false. So this true or false is called the Boolean. So Boolean data type has only two values, either true or false. So if you want to make the new function or new expression, whatever that is, this part, if the expression, this part should be Boolean, which means true or false. Then it's a simple, okay? Then we can put choose the body, the code block for in case of true, otherwise false, we can put over here. So this is the if statement. Very simple, okay? So nothing difficult, so we are going to move. Then we'd better know what is the Boolean, the more detail. So here's a question. Is it true or false? Maria is good. It's true. So this is the true. Yes, the Avdar and the Brandon, it's the true. So this is the example of the if statement, the expression. So you can use such a expression like the equation, like that. So this, before we start to know about the more details of the Boolean, so this Boolean actually named after mathematician George Boole. Okay, so he is the English mathematician in 19th century. So if you know about the George Boole more details, do not ask me. How can you find the more information about him? Google. Yes, that's the best suggestion. Why don't you search the George Boole, who he is, and very interesting. He died. Sadly, he died of being too cool. Okay, so this is a Boolean variable. So we have one more data type. So this small box can have either true or false from now on. So it is inside the true, or it can be the false. So it can be stored as a value of the variable. Okay, like this one. So you can directly assign the value true or false. So true, this is a different. If you are using the double quotation, this is not true. This will be what? If you are using single quote or double quote for the true, the data type of the true is it the Boolean or not? Yes, it's the string. So be careful. So you cannot use the single quote nor the double quotation mark. If you are using, this will be string, not Boolean. So you can directly use. Or, so in this case, the one, as the Maria and the other students said, so 1 is less than 2, it's a true. So in case of true, this will be true. Then what's the meaning of 1 equal sign? What's the meaning of 1 equal? What's the meaning of 1 equal? Assign, yes. So true will be assigned to the x. So as you can see, x is true, not the 1 less than 2. So true will be assigned. What about this one? So check the 5.0 is, what is the meaning of double equal sign? What's the meaning of the double equal sign? It's the equal to evaluation. So is it the same? No, it's a different. So, which means it's a false. So false will be assigned to y. So that's the reason y is the false. Its data type is a Boolean. Okay. Yes, very nice. So here's a question. Why don't you find the answer for each operator? So we can use the equal, double, the equal sign, not equal. The exclamation mark means it's not equal. Opposite of this one and this one is the opposite. And the less than, greater than, the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So we can use all these operators. Then this is an example. Why don't you find the value? Okay. Why don't you find the value? Then I will show the answer. Okay, so everyone did. So let's solve the problem together. The first one, is it true or false? Is it true or false? True, yes, a lot of students true, so it's a true. What about this one? 3.2 is not 2.5. Is it true or false? True, false? Because it's different. So it's not the same, which means it's also true. Right, third one, less than. Is it true or false? It's a false, right? Very good, very nice. And what about this? 10 is greater than 5? Yes, it's true. And 126 less than 100? Equal or less than 100? It's a false. Yes, great. The last one, 5.0 is greater than or equal to 5.0? Is it true or false? Yes, true. So you can the compare the your. So you are ready to use. So how can we use such the Boolean the expression? You can just put, because the output of all of this is either true or false. So you can use it like this one. Don't forget put the colon. And you can have the indentation always. Oh, if you have a multiple the command for the code block, you can keep the same like this. Then in this case, the 1 is less than 2. Is it true or false? True. So which means this 1 is less than 2 will be returned. So let's start. Before we start, so what if? So this is not true. In case the false, so we can use S E L S E. So S. Then S is otherwise. So you can use the colon, then keep this one. So if S. So S is the optional. But if is mandatory, so you should use the if. Then what if I have another condition? Another condition, like for example, if same. Okay. How can I use the another condition? You can combine it eraser, or not this one. So this is not the eraser. I have eraser over here. Point. Oops, not this. And oh yes. So if you have another condition, but it's the next, then you can use the ELIF. So ELIF is the else if. So we can use the ELIF. Then if you have another one, so 1 is equal to 2. I know this doesn't make sense. If you have another, so you can put and indentation code block. If you have another condition, so you can use the like this. You can use the another one. Then finally 1s like this. Okay. So this is a simple. the syntax. So let's start the problem one. So problem one is very simple. So you are going to ask the number, okay? Number like this. Enter a number. Then you are going to display whether this is a positive or negative or the zero. So there are three different cases for the whole number: zero or positive or negative. So let's go back to here. Then you can open the if conditional, if condition. Then let me start. Then you can follow me. Then you can complete. So first, we need to ask the questions. What function we can use? We can use what? Input, right? So enter a number. So we can ask, but be careful. What's the data type of the num in this case? What is the data type? This is an integer. Is it integer? Brandon, think about what is the output of input? It is always. Anyone who knows what is the data type of the input? Is it always a float? Anyone else? After this is should not be string, right? So, however, it's a Boolean input. If you are using input, any data, any number, any string will be string. So this is a string. So we need to change. So how can we change a string into integer? Do you remember last time? Last class we learned the function integer. So we can use integer function. Then finally num will be integer. Okay, very nice, Abdul. So we can use integer and for the input. Then the num will be integer. We practice. If you cannot remember, please go back to the last week, the episode, then you can understand. Then the next thing is we are going to check the num is equal to 0. If 0, then we can print your number is the 0. Then let's run it. So you can close the Python console, open the terminal. So as the user, Python 3 for the Mac. Otherwise, you can use the Python. So this is the if condition. Then, so 0, yes, your number is 0. However, what if I type the 1? Nothing happened. So why don't you complete your code for this? Okay. I will give the 2 minutes to complete. If you are done, you can give me the thumbs up and I can recognize who is completed. Wow, Ryan did. Very nice. If you have any questions, please ask to Irvin or the Trinity. Please do not watch the screen only. You need to type and you need to do something. If you do not know how to do that, just send the message to the Irvin or the Trinity, then she or he will help you. This is not drama. You don't have to watch me. So this is the learning the Python. Okay, you should do something. Who else? So let's see if you are done, please give me thumbs up. then I can see yes, the Olivia did, and Olivia is the next one. Very nice. Who else? You can use if, and also you can use else. Maria did. Very nice. 1 more minute to complete. Abdul did. Very nice. Ian did. Very good. And Katie also did. And Minion also did. Let's start the code together. Okay. So the if statement can cover only one condition. Num is equal to 0 or not. So next one is, let's check the positive. So instead of creating the one more the if, we can use the else if, elif, E-L-I-F. Then num is this time positive. Positive is bigger than 0. Okay. Also, this is the Python style. Please give one space for each operand and operation. Any variable and the operation give the one space, like this one. One space, one space. This is the Python style. Even though you are doing the such a way, it's not error, but it is suggested to better understand one space. So if you do not give the space, please give the space like this. Then print your number is the positive. Then next, we don't have to convert. The others will be obviously S. What? It's a negative number. Your number is negative. Okay, then check it. We can run the program. So if it's 0, yes, it's a 0. If -1, it's negative. If 5, it's a positive, like that. Okay, very nice, very good. So what happened? When you run this program, so we are going to see with the Anyone Python screen. So before that, one more time, if you have the S, otherwise S, the colon, then you can give the code block, your code for the otherwise. Also, in case, what do you think? This one is working or not? Is it correct or not? So we are going to use the if inside as a code block. Do you think it works? Yes, it works. It is okay to use. So if you have multiple conditions, so you can use the if statement inside. And also, you can give the one more if statement inside. Also inside, it's not a problem. However, it is difficult to understand. So it's not recommended. So if you need, you can use it, but this one is much better. Okay. So even though it works, so this kind of style is better. So if, because we are using the same variable to compare. So then otherwise, so this one. So this is the final. So when you run this code, so num will be created. So because of int, the data type is the integer, like this. Then the other just use this one. Num is 0? No, it's not. So we go to the elif. Then the if bigger than 0 and going this one is a true. Here is the question. After we print out this, is it going to the next else or is it going to the out of if statement? Number one or number two, where it goes. This one is true. Then after true, where it goes. Next or the end of if. Number one or number two. Avdar said it's number two. And who else? Second? Second? Yes, it doesn't go through this one. So this is very important when you create a complicated condition. This one does not check the after true. If true, then that's it. So in this case, it is the print and the going to end of statement. So for example, in case of zero, print zero, then it doesn't check this one. Then going to end of the if statement. This is very important. So we don't have to check because this is the true. So it's the end of the this. So this is the first problem. Second problem, very nice. So in this problem, we are going to create the theory like the chatbot. Actually, it's not chatbot, but we can create like the robot, the Carol, to ask the question. Then Carol is just a simple randomly this answer by selecting one of these options. So no chance, without doubt, the answer can be found in the tea room. Yes, good question. The only Carol knows. But we are going to select the randomly one of this the answer from the question. Okay, then we should know how to create the random number in Python, right? So Python provide the random number generation. It's called the random number generation. So how can we use? Just run. So we are going to use, so why don't you open your Python console? Why don't you open your Python console? Then, so Python provide random. So this is the program, the existing. So we learned today a lot, the time, date time, and also random today. So random. So it is good idea to type the Trinity or the Irving, the type the one. Then the student can type also import random. Okay. Then, so this random has the several functions. So to create the random number integer, it's called the RANDINT. So then I'd like to create this is the 1 through 6. So in this case, I'd like to create the 1 through 6, 1, comma 6. Then the Python will select the one, the random number. This is inclusive. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. It's inclusive. It's different from the don't be confused with the range function. Range was not inclusive, but this one is inclusive. So if you want, so you can really very nice, thank you. This is inclusive. So if you run it again, so what happened? 6 and 4. It's a randomly generate. Okay. Okay. Then here is the important thing. How does the Python generate the random number? How does the Python generate the random number? Do you have any idea? Actually, answer is Python and most of computer do not generate a random number. So random number is just a sequence number. So computer can generate the sequence number. So it doesn't actually create the really random number instead it's called the pseudo random number. So let's see such an example. So random dot seed. Why don't you type 0? So why don't you follow me? So random dot seed. Seed number is 0. Okay. Trinity is inclusive. So 6 is included. So 0 to 6. It's a 1 to 6. So why don't you type the random dot seed? Then enter. Then from now on, follow me. Random int 1 through 6. So just create the random number. What is the generate number? What is your number? Please give me your number. 4. Everybody 4. Then again, one more time. This time, what is the next number? It's still 4. Then one more time. What is the next number? 1. So it's amazing. Even random number. So all of us have the same sequence number. Next, it's the same thing. Your next number is 3. And next number is 5. Why? Because the seed number means I gave the seed here. Seed 0. Seed 0. Actually, Python does not generate the really random number. It's a pseudo fake the random number. If you provide the seed is the first random number. Actually, it's not really random. First number, then followed by the same thing. Then, what if I do not provide the seed, just the random int? So random number. So if you do not provide the seed number, but computer use this time the Unix time. So Unix time as the seed, default seed. So if you do not provide the seed number, then computer use the Unix time that we have seen the very beginning of this class. So Unix time is used for the default, but whenever we run the random int random number, the time is different. Because of that, you and me will have the different number. However, coincidentally, if we type at the same time, then the random number will be the same sequence. Okay, so the Python, we can use such a random generator. So we will use the random generator for this. So I will give we are going to move on the next problem. So I already gave you the question input, ask yes or no question to Carol. The choice is the 1 or 2 through 6. So then you are going to code over here using if, elif, else. So if, for example, the choice is equal to 1, then don't forget this, then print the number 1. This, no chance. So no chance, like this. Okay, then continue the code. Why don't you complete the code? So I'm going to so I will give the 3 minutes. I think the 3 minutes will be enough. If you are done, you can give me the thumbs up. You don't have to see my code. I'm going to do my job, so you can try by yourself to solve this problem? If you are done, please give me thumbs up. It's your time. You don't have to watch my screen. Read see your the Python, then solve the problem. Okay, please give me thumbs up. So if you are done, so let's see the how many of you the complete the ask to Carol question today. Yes, Brandon did. Very nice. Katie also did. Very nice. Please take a time. So we have a time so you can complete your code. Maria, she did. Very good. And Ian also did. Yes, Abdul did. And more and more. So, okay, so let's see the code. If you do not complete yet, why don't you go ahead? So then I'm going to show how it works. So something wrong here, right? Is it? I don't think so. Question. We are not going to use the question. This is just a question. So the Carol will answer the randomly. So first, we are going to check whether the choice is a random number is 1. If yes, no chance. Then please the Python style the ask to give the blank between operation and variable. So I give the one space over here, one space over here. Then the print. Then the elif. If not, then choice is equal to 2. Yes or no? If yes, then print this. And so on. And if none of them are the same, it's probably 6 because we generate the number 1 through 6. So 6 only Carol knows, like that. Then the program will be done. So let's run the program. This time, this will be the ask to Carol. So what is your question? Are you tired? Am I the good? So good question. So then are you smart? Without a doubt. So surprisingly, even though this program, the answer randomly, it makes sense. So if you see this one, so is anyone Python fun? Yes. So like that. Surprisingly, even though it's a randomly the answer, it is it makes sense. It's the answer. It makes sense. So here's one more thing. So what if the one last thing? What if the choice is a 6 this time? Okay, choice is a 6 in this time. Then compare the choices 1, choice 2, choice 3, choice 4, choice 5. Then is finally over here. Then here's the question. What if choice is 1? So it is true over here. So it is the true over here. So what will be the after print? What will be the next? Is it going to here or going to print the space? Number 1 and number 2. Number 1 or number 2? Which one will be? So in case the choice is 1, so 1 is generated. Is it going to here or the going to here? Number 1 is going to choice compare with the choice 2. And the number 2, skip the this and then the print. Number 1 or number 2? Okay. Number 1. So one more time, if the first, this one is true. In case the true, the Python doesn't have to check the next. Okay. So just after print out, after completion of the code block, it will be end of the if statement. Then the process the next one, print. Okay. So don't forget that in case of many condition in one if statement, elif, so if true, then after complete the code block, it will end the if statement. So in this case, it's the number 2. So you can why? Because we don't have to compare. So when you compare the code, it's a waste of the computer resource. So we don't have to do that. Okay, so that is the most of things. So as I said, the if statement is one of the most important statement. So please practice with today's problem. And the next week, we are going to learn the much more fun the statement, including the for loop and while loop, like that. Okay, so this is the end of the today's lecture. Thanks so much for your attending. So you can enjoy the weekend and always you should be safe. We will see the next week. Thank you.